Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, aside from my embarrassing near-death experience, already mentioned in a previous video, today I'm going to share with you top 5 most embarrassing slash nearly tragic mishaps that I have had. Number 5. This isn't exactly in recent years, but it did happen when I was old enough to know what was happening. My siblings and I, all 5 of us, on our various writing apparatuses in the backyard. We're all probably 15 years old and younger. So we've got two-wheeler bicycles, and we've got a strange John Deere tractor riding thing that one brother's riding on. And then we've got tricycles, and then me on my strawberry shortcake tricycle. We just kind of started going one direction and the rest followed. It was like a little train. My dad had been putting roofing tiles on top of a wood box. He wasn't quite finished with the edge of it, and there was a very sharp sheet of metal coming off the end of it. Like he was going to work on it one more day and it was going to be done, and so he thought it would be safe one more day, but just put me in the picture and it's not necessarily safe. I was going closer, ever closer, and the last turn, I slid right by that metal sheet and it sliced me open right on my eyebrow. But it wasn't just one slice. Apparently I jarred my head or something, and I ended up getting 2 cuts right on my eyebrow. And I remember distinctly the blood trickling down over my eye, and it freaked me out. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was like a worm and it was something trickling down my face. I have a little tiny fine line of a scar in my eyebrow that I can cover with my eyebrow pencil. So it's not tragic now. It was just kind of a freaky, weird, almost tragic happenstance. Number 4. We have a very large walnut tree in our backyard, and we had a swing set attached to it on ropes and a piece of wood for the seat, and I was just so blissfully swinging. I've always just loved swing sets. One of my favorite experiences is feeling the motion and the wind and the rush on the swing set. And this particular day, I was just closing my eyes and enjoying the moment and the movement, and I realized during one swing that I didn't stop like normal and go forward again. I just kept going backwards. And I opened my eyes to see the world rushing away from me as I flew backwards. So both ropes apparently broke at the same time. I went flying back, and I came within about 2 feet of slamming into our outbuilding, which was my dad's workshop. My legs were turned and twisted under me in a very odd, painful way, and so ever since that happened, my knee has popped and creaked when I walk, and I have to maneuver my leg in a certain way to get it to stop hurting, because the tendon wants to kind of slip over, and then it's very painful to walk. Number 3, I was standing in the kitchen and I was getting a glass of milk, probably eating a cookie. I don't generally drink milk without a cookie. I had the carton of milk in one hand and my glass in the other hand, and all of a sudden the world just went and tilty whirled and twisted, and I just started falling. Just went from an upright position to literally down on my side in about a second. I wasn't hurt, I wasn't injured, it was just very disconcerting. But somehow I avoided spilling a single drop of milk, even though I had milk in an open milk carton and milk in a cup. Somehow I avoided a sticky mess in the kitchen, even though my equilibrium went kaput. Number 2, this one is just embarrassing. I don't have a good excuse for it. I am generally very aware of my surroundings, what I'm doing, where I'm going. This just does not happen, and has only, thankfully, ever happened the one time. I was in a craft store, maybe it was like a Party Depot or something like that, and my mom was looking at wrapping paper, and I was off on my own just looking at things and stuff, and I needed to use the restroom. Somehow I read the sign wrong and I went in the men's restroom. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was as I was walking in the restroom, a guy decided to walk out of one of the stalls, and he didn't have his pants fully fastened, and so he went to start fastening his pants, looked up and saw me, and scurried back in the stall, and I scurried right out of the room and hid from him in case he were to spot me for the rest of my visit. I've never forgotten how extremely embarrassing that whole situation was. Number one, and this is bad for a number of reasons. A blunder, an error, something really stupid but weird, and I don't really know why it happened to begin with. I was a rambunctious child. This probably happened when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was creative in my activities. My siblings didn't really like playing with me. They would go off and do their thing. I would be in my room alone playing with Barbie dolls. I would just find creative ways of entertaining myself because my brothers didn't really like doing things I like to do. So I went outside, and the shed must have been unlocked from the guys getting their bicycles out of it, and they just left it open while they were out riding their bikes, and I went in and I found the big lawn clippers, shrubbery clippers, whatever you want to call them. They weren't the little ones you squeeze in your hand. No, they were the big ones that, like, when you're 7 or 8, you literally have to reach your arms out to clamp them shut. And so I was outside, and the grass kind of needed trimming. So I was just standing there clamping down on the lawn clippers, and I was literally clipping the lawn. Well, one of my siblings came and found me, and for some reason, he was okay with me doing what I was doing, but his curiosity, or I don't know what else you would call it, caused him to do something very strange. I was in the motion of clipping the lawn when my brother saw that right where I was about to clip, there was a black walnut on the ground. And I wasn't specifically going to clip the walnut, but he apparently thought I was, so as I am literally reaching down and anchoring myself for a big old chomp, he sticks his hand down right in between the clippers to grab the walnut. And then he screamed. He screamed as I almost cut off his finger. Literally, I do not remember which finger it was. I think it was his ring finger on, I cannot remember which hand. It was probably his right hand because he's right-handed. But I just remember all of a sudden panic, freaking out, him running toward the house, a trail of blood going on the patio and in through the laundry room into the kitchen, and from there a lot of crying, a lot of pain, a lot of parents yelling at me for being into the clippers and almost cutting my brother's finger off. It was a crazy moment. But thankfully, we are many years down the road from there, and you can't even find the scar. So he wore one of those little metal, what are they called, shims? Maybe not shims. It was just a metal thing that rested, his finger rested on and was wrapped around it. And he has full mobility. There's no scar even visible. I think he knows which finger it was, but he can't tell by looking at it. But it was a freak out moment. We're just glad he has all of his fingers and all of his toes, even though it has nothing to do with the story here. So that was the top 5. On a side note, because I was very much a loner in playing with myself because my brothers weren't interested and my mom was so busy, I was alone in my room a lot, and I was playing with my Barbie dolls, and I remember this. One of the things I always did with my Barbie dolls, no matter how many times I did it before, I was totally intent on finding the most efficient way for them to pack as much of their belongings into the small batch of suitcases I had, fitting it into the car, and helping them get where they needed to go with as much stuff as I could fit. And I've just realized This is why I am such a good condenser and organizer now, which I am. Everyone comes to me when they need help organizing and sorting and condensing and packing and all that kind of stuff. They all come to me because I am known in the family to be the guru of this topic. I've realized it came from my playing with my Barbie dolls, and it was kind of an inherent thing all the way back into my childhood. So, who knew? Still love puzzles, still love challenges, trying to fit this into this and where the pieces go. Who knew I was becoming a condensation guru? So, hope you had fun listening to my odd, weird, near tragic experiences. What are your most embarrassing stories? I'd love to hear some of them. Go ahead and comment down below. I will see you guys next time. Ciao for now.